What's going on, guys? This is Ed Reviews here for what hopes to be the last time we ever have to talk about Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Hello.
Mike's here again.
Hi, guys. I'm tired.
So it's still been a day since the episode first came out, but we just finished it about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, and
I picked him up. We got dinner because I felt like I needed to spend money on him for the agony that really he put us through.
There's nothing you can repay me.
I mean, you
bought
it.
Yeah.
You bought it. So we've had not as much time as we usually do to let it stew over. But I mean, we've had. We wanted to do this didn't want to do this last night. We planned to do it last night.
We don't want to do this at all. But we're doing it.
It's worth mentioning that before the episode even started, Don't Nod fucked the lawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, basically...
to the best of my knowledge, what had happened was that if you had bought the game in advance like we both did...
Yep.
In theory, what's supposed to happen is the episode was supposed to automatically install in a software update for the game. By the way, we both play on PS4. So our PS4s, in theory, were supposed to just run the software update, and then the episode was supposed to be in there and ready to play.
How most episodic things do that is that they put the episode in the update and then lock it behind a paywall.
Yeah.
They decided to put that in separate downloads for some ungodly reason. And
then
they also decided if you needed to download that, the link they gave you on in the game went to the 2 and 3 bundle, which didn't work.
Yeah. So what we had to do basically, well, I mean, for one, we both wasted our time waiting for the episode for the software to install. And then we both get in. Oh, good. It doesn't work. And then this is not an insult to him, like an insult to him or anything like that. He does not have Wi-Fi. He uses his cell phone's hotspot to do all his downloads. So they, take you 3 times what it takes me usually?
Yeah, usually. It's still not bad internet, but it's it still takes me a while. And also, I downloaded the software update when I was over a friend's house.
So he was able to do it.
But I totally forgot that Deck 9 and Don't Nod, because they did that too, and the first Life is Strange are just stupid, and they just... The episode after the update.
That wasn't the thing in the first Life is Strange.
Yeah,
because because you wouldn't have known because you didn't play.
Yeah, but I still had to download it, and then I had to download the episode separately. Remember? Because I was like, we can play episode 2, and I'm like, oh wait, it only downloaded the first episode. I have to download the other episodes.
Oh yeah, but I never had any. But the thing is, I had the season pass for the first game when it came out. I never had a problem like this before. Well, because the other thing too was when you went into the PS4, the PlayStation Store, to download it, it was marked as episode 1.
Everything was.
Every single part of it was.
Even the first game was Life is Strange episode 1, and then the other names of the episodes. I don't know why, but they just did that.
It was a very weird, and needless to say, we were both really irritated last night as we were trying to figure this out.
I just wanted to get it over with.
And so we couldn't play it because in the end, mine downloaded in 20 minutes was it?
Yeah, mine was gonna take 2 hours at 9 o'clock.
And I had to go in at 8. We both had to work at the same place. I had to go in at 8 the next morning, and I need to function at that job, right? Mm-hmm. You supported my need to...
Yeah. It wasn't worth it.
So, basically, it was already off to a really bad start, from the sense of just, you can't even release it properly. Never mind the narrative problems, which, granted, there's a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even know how to... make game. No. How you make game is not correct.
It really isn't. We actually got into the third episode. They did the previously on Life is Strange, and just mine. I had no audio. He did. I just didn't.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I had no audio whatsoever. I mean, my music was lower, but it no dialogue, no anything. And also, we both saw this. It was very, very choppy, and it just overall the animation this time, especially in the previously on Life is Strange bit, it was glitchy. It was awkward. It was very unnatural.
It felt. It's just. Do you think that, for one thing, when they initially said it, it's also worth mentioning, the release date changed 3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
I already know of the 20. And then
the 22nd was initially announced as the 22nd. Then it got moved to the 19th.
I thought it moved to the 20th.
No, then it got moved to the 20th. Then they said, the 19th.
I think they could have used those 2 extra days. Honestly.
I mean, I don't know if there was much that could have been saved.
I don't know. The launch for the PS4 maybe would have been better.
Yeah, and the thing is, the other platforms don't deal with it, so it's like... But I said, I compared it to when Warner Brothers... And it wasn't Warner Brothers, it was Rocksteady.
It was Rocksteady.
It was Rocksteady. Launched Arkham Knight, and the launch on PC was abysmal.
Yeah,
it couldn't play.
It wasn't playable.
And they had to issue refunds. You alienate a player base.
And that's a pretty big player base, too. If you do any of the major platforms, you're alienating one of them, it's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah. I mean, granted, they fixed it for the most part.
Quotes around that.
But there wasn't much to fix with to begin with. So, yeah.
We're not going to be running through a play-by-play on this because
like we've
honestly,
done in the past, too, because nothing happened.
Well,
sort of.
You
go ahead. The first
we were going with it, and it picks up where the last one left off. Obviously, we just figured out that Sarah, which is the strange woman that they didn't see,
the woman that Rachel's father was making out with is Rachel's real mother.
So she's upset about that. She goes up to her room. You can choose to talk or not, or just go upstairs. They actually give you a very clear cut plot in this one.
They're like, oh, Rachel wants to meet the mother.
It's a dilemma of which you have no choice over. You gotta help her find her mom no matter what, even though it's alluded that you do have the choice to it, but you don't.
Yeah,
the plot demands it.
Yeah, no, it
Your choices throughout this episode are yes, and also yes. You don't. There's a lot of choices where it's the same thing, but worded a little differently.
Yeah, what he means by that is not so much the big Life is Strange time stops.
Which we only got.
There was 2 of them. There was only 2.
There was only 2.
Yeah. This was a very weird episode. Anyway, so there's only 2 of those, but all the other dialogue trees, he's exactly right. It's here's a question. Here's 2 answers that are basically the same thing.
For instance, when you go up to comfort Rachel, she's like, and this is the part that Eddie thought has potential, right?
Yeah, I'm sitting there through this up until, because the title card is when you walk into her room, right? We're good. It doesn't stop recording, but the title card is, I think, is it her walking into the room or is it when you get the flashlight?
It's when you walk into the room. Okay.
So after the title card, you have the little bit where you're comforting Rachel. And through that first 10 minutes where I'm like, okay, this is an explanation.
In quotes, I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah, my exact words were, I really don't want to jump the gun here. But there's something here. It's from a completely different game if this is the direction they're going. Mm-hmm. From the sense of the first 2 episodes, this felt, especially, the one thing I give it credit for was I really did like the visualization of Rachel and Chloe finding out the courtship, if you will.
Yeah, the father is telling them how him and Sarah met. And
Sarah is the name of Rachel's mother, by the way.
And she has a drug problem, and all her story is explained through a viewfinder.
Through the view, they're looking through a view. It's like
a very abstract set piece.
It's a very abstract set piece, but it's something that I'm like, okay.
And yeah, I like that too.
That's something that, like, I mean, one works in the realms of Life is Strange.
And it was creative.
I'm like, but the thing is, I said, I don't remember if I turned to you and, not, again, hypothetically turned to you, because we're over a party in two different houses when we're playing this, but I had said to myself, and possibly to him, I said, that feels like something out of a game that was made about Rachel.
Yeah.
Not about Chloe.
No.
Because in the end, why would Chloe be seeing this thing that, like, unless...
I think it's more like Chloe, because when Rachel gets up, you can either say, here's another arbitrary choice, I'm here for you, or you got this.
Yeah.
I suppose it's like, you're with her, you're supporting. I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, they're going for that, but the thing is, it's like, the whole point is, that idea works if Chloe wasn't the center of this game.
Which still makes no sense to me. Because this entire episode is focused not on Chloe, but on Rachel.
Yeah, it really doesn't, like... there's a serious sense of...
I know what they're going for.
I don't want to say cognitive dissonance, but
I've seen this sort of storytelling before where the main character isn't the person you're seeing through. It's where the protagonist is a companion of some sort. That's sort of leading the charge here.
And how often does it work, though?
I've seen it work. I haven't seen it used often, that's the thing, but I have seen it work. Yeah. It doesn't work here. But because they try to shoehorn a Chloe story in, too. Yeah,
it's very confused. So, but anyway, through that first 10 minutes, through this viewfinder thing, even up to the point where you're in the room and you're comforting her and you were getting the title card of Square Enix and Deck 9 present Life is Strange, Before the Storm Episode 3, Hell is Empty. Hella's anyway, we... And through those 12 minutes, he's right. I said to him, I don't want to jump the gun, but if this is the story we're doing, this is something I like.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciated that they were going with a clear-cut plot here, like, oh, you have to find Rachel's mother. I can get down with that. Yeah. It's not... I wouldn't say it's typical for Life is Strange, but I can get down with that. But I knew, because it's this game, and call it a prejudice if you will, but I knew they wouldn't be able to keep this up.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. They can't.
And so what was it?
I told you, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss, and it misses a whole lot.
And what did it... And so what was... That was about 15 minutes of... the introduction, and
boy, I really want to tell you what else happened.
And I said to, and I think I ended that scene with, "This has potential. I'm curious to see where that goes."
But I just, at this point, I just don't care, and I'll get into that more. But through the second and first episode, they've given me less and less and less of a reason to actually care. Boring writing, boring voice acting, borderline atrocious voice acting, directing, and it's just I don't care.
Yeah. So through those 12 minutes, and I'm like, this has potential. He doesn't care. How quickly did I jump on your bandwagon of doesn't care?
The next scene.
30 seconds into the next scene, I'm already done. What
even was the next scene after that?
That was the William play thing?
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Because if you remember, literally what I said was, I was like, wow, you literally took all the potential and all the excitement I had for where this episode could go, and you ruined it in 30 seconds. Because when we did the discussion about the first episode, we liked what they were doing with William.
It was going in a right direction. A lot of things were very dare I say, promising about it.
Yeah. If you don't remember what we talked about, or you didn't play it, which you shouldn't play this, in the first episode, Chloe's dead father, William, you keep having this hallucination to the day her father dies, where you're sitting in the car with him. And granted, it has always ended with the car running, with the truck, with the 18-wheeler running them over.
But as it went on, it got
funnier,
yes, but more disjointed.
But yeah,
more weird.
So, like, by the time the second episode rolls around, you do still have this idea of her, like, and we were like, in the first episode, we were like, okay, he's acting as her conscience almost, and that's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. It's not done all perfectly, that well, but
like it's there.
Something. And it got worse and worse, and it flourishes here with what I can only describe.
What is it? There's a certain method acting to it. Imagine them on
pantomime, right?
Yeah, I think it's pantomime acting.
Yeah. So there,
except with a real truck at the
William, and you're jumping the gun.
I know.
William, the ghost of William and Chloe in her outfit from The Tempest are sitting on a stage and they're pantomiming driving in the car that we've had in all of these hallucinations. And the people who are watching are all of the characters that we've seen so far.
A lot of the characters that
a lot
matter,
of the
which are like
a lot
4.
of the important characters, which is about 4 of them. And
he says something. I'm not really paying attention at this. I'm assuming it's William being.
He's being optimistic. The conscience, I think.
And then
it's like they go back and forth for a minute.
And you can either go along with it or just like say, "What are you doing?" And eventually, it just ends.
Yeah, so it's like they have what they think is trying to be deep, but it reminded me. You know what this reminded me of? I just thought of it. It reminded me of in the first game, episode 5. Do you remember the scene where it's for the 12th time in the first game that we have the introductory classroom scene?
Oh yeah.
Where you can go talk to Kate and all that. But remember when you go up there and like you're talking to Jefferson like you do in the beginning of the first game, but what it is it's like you say all this pervy shit to Jefferson. Mm-hmm. It reminds me kind of that scene from the sense of
it's way weirder though.
Total confusion. From the sense of, and when I was playing through, this is before I even like knew him when I played the game the first time. I just remembered what it reminds me of the total confusion I had in that scene with Jefferson in the first game, where it's like, I don't want to say these things. This doesn't make sense. This is obviously not reality. What the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. And again, without a supernatural element to this game, these hallucinations make no sense. It
just makes Chloe look really, really crazy.
Which, granted, I've always suspected that, mm-hmm. but like...
And, let's try not to go scene by scene here, because it
But, really... no, my whole point was I was going to finish this scene, and then we were going to talk about mm-hmm. how we both stopped caring. Mm-hmm. So that scene ends after, like, this weird... William's morphing into David, who's morphing into William. Like, it gets very weird. Yeah. So, you know how every one of the hallucinations up to that point has ended with, we don't see it, but the truck running over William. Mm-hmm. In this, they decide to have a literal, and like William in this scene is like, oh yeah, no, it's not going to actually hit me this time. It's just going to be some sound effects and some floodlights. And then an actual 18-wheeler literally runs him over.
It's kind of funny.
It's really funny. At that point, I like had to take my headset off and just go into a laughing fit. Because I'm like, it's stupid. In short, it's...
I don't know if it was meant to be heartfelt, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I just don't give a damn, or...
And so, the reason I did feel the need to describe that scene in detail to you that is the moment where I said to him, I'm just as done as you are.
I spammed buttons at that point just to see.
At that point,
just to see if there was any difference. And you know what? Was there? No.
A little bit.
Just a tiny. There's one scene.
One with a character that I don't know if I hate or it's just because I know the voice actor.
It's just
you can tell me. Am I being
for context? At one point, Rachel asks you to break into her father's office to find information on her mother. So your choice there is yes or yes. So you go, and Elliot follows you in because he voices his concern over you, or as Chloe, and
he snaps.
But here's the thing: it's so shoehorned in. But the only times you've ever had to been forced to talk to Elliot is in episode 1. One time.
Right.
He's beyond underdeveloped. There is no and he just shows up and he believes to care about you, and I'm just like, I don't care. So you can do a back talk, which if you succeed, the police come and he eventually gets expelled from Blackwell, and a little bit of this different scene happens.
If you fail the back talk,
you just break the glass and you both run out.
Yeah.
And that's the only different scene that I found in that. And another thing that pissed me off is that in the last episode, you could choose. You were with what was his name, Derek and Mikey, or what was Mikey's brother's name? That's how
I don't remember. Because
I'm going to call him Derek
because we called him Token.
Yeah. So yeah, Mikey and Token. You could either choose to take the money that they were going to use to help their dad to pay Frank or Fred, or I think it's Frank.
No, it's Damon.
No, not Damon. The other guy, other drug dealer, that stops Damon from stabbing Rachel.
Well, Frank, yeah, but Frank doesn't want your money for anything.
What? I thought it was Frank who wanted the money because he sends you in there to grab the money, so you can either take it or not in the second episode.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm leading up to this. But so I chose to take it.
This.
I forgot what you did.
I was so lost playing
But
this.
you can either... There's this whole thing where you go up to Frank and Damon, which are two big bad drug dealers, and this can either go very wrong or very right, because obviously they're suspicious of you asking about their clients. So, obviously you would think, hey, if I gave them the money, I could just walk free. There doesn't need to be a fight. Nothing needs to happen, right? That would be the payout. But then again, the other thing would be Token and Mikey would get mad at you for stealing their dad's money. None of those things happen. The fight happens anyways, and they don't ever question you taking the money. That's it. Nothing changes. That whole choice just doesn't matter. And that's a stop moment choice, too, in the second episode. It's just nothing. Not a damn thing. And that they
He wanted to stop playing at that point.
I did. I was so... But I kept going. Are you proud of me?
I thank you. I mean, again, it was your money.
I know. People
By the way, for the
past
past 2 months, actually, since the second episode came out, I've been reminding him consistently, he bought this.
But also, I've been reminding you that if you buy something, that doesn't always have to mean you like it.
But... Correct? I want someone to be blamed for this.
Then blame Deck 9 for making a shitty game.
You right.
For allowing this garbage to be sent out the door.
So, I mean...
Other than that, it was very forgettable. If you got anything else that, I don't. Because I spaced out.
I don't, because the thing is, we got so bored towards the end that we were honestly just letting... Because one of the things I said in the second episode that was still prevalent in this is that there is the littlest amount of actual movement of Chloe. Like...
A little bit.
Little bit of movement. And the problem I had was, for the most part, we're just sitting there watching cutscenes.
With arbitrary choices. Yes or yes,
granted,
no or no.
You can, there's interactive dialogue, but there's nothing. So we're sitting there. The reason that we don't remember a lot of this, too, is because at some point we just got bored and just started bullshitting on our phones about stuff.
And we just chatted about
We
different
chatted
things.
about like stuff that had nothing to do with like
work stories and stuff like
we were
that.
talking about work. We were talking about, and granted, I guess in some respect, it's kind of like a chick flick like that, where we can turn it on, let it run in the background, and just talk over it.
But that shouldn't be how a video game is played.
Yeah, it's not a video.
There was less movement in this than anything.
Yeah,
It was all cutscene.
and
I don't know if any of you played Kingdom Hearts, but I played
he's conveniently.
I'm conveniently plugging it right here. Kingdom Hearts 365 days over 2. It's a one big 3-hour-long cutscene, and it was more interesting than Life is Strange with gameplay.
Before the storm, though.
Oh, right. Sure. Yeah, that's what I meant.
We have...
No, you know my thoughts on it.
So, I mean, that's going to do it up for the lack of a plot. And I guess... Wow, we're cruising here.
That's not,
so,
like
what
we
we're
said,
going to
there's
do
just
here...
not much to talk about.
What we're going to do now, I think, is we're just going to... I'll give a prompt of, like, questions, if you will, to include answers to in your final thoughts. And I'll let him go first because I'm coming up with these as I talk right now in my head. And I'll let him go first, and I'll do mine. This isn't going to be an angry rant like the last one. So I would say the things I would say is there's 3 questions I have. Would you recommend it? No, don't answer any. Just include these in your final rant. Is it better, worse, or the same as the first game? And are you on board for season 2 of the actual Life is Strange anymore? Because it's a real thing that will be happening. Don't Nod has confirmed.
All right, so you want to
So
go?
just final thoughts, but include those 3 things.
All right, so let me answer the 3 questions first. Would I recommend it? Absolutely not. I get that people have their own opinions, and if you like the world of Life is Strange that much, and you love Chloe, and you want to know more about Rachel, I would say go for it, but honestly, I would say you're better off watching it on YouTube. I honestly think the animation, the acting, the writing is just so honestly abysmal that they don't deserve your money. Just support a YouTuber or someone who plays that.
Jacksepticeye just live streamed his playthrough today.
Just support someone
Not sponsored.
who actually does work. And I say that more as a joke. I know they put in some effort into it, but it just doesn't come off as good to me. Is it better or worse than the first game? Somehow, some way, they made everything I hated about the first game and just made an entire game out of the crap I hated from it. Arbitrary choices, fetch quests that make no sense. It's not fun. It's not anything. I was bored as hell from the story. And the gameplay, walking and sometimes pressing a button, which can sum up a lot of games, but trust me, in this game, it's just no. And am I on board for a season 2? Nope. Unless it's free, I can't.
What if I buy it for you?
Maybe, but if I like it, I ain't doing all 3 or 5 episodes. I just have no interest in this franchise.
Season 2 is going to be new characters.
I don't care. I just don't.
Can we please have a cake game?
I might play a cake game, but I also don't want to see them ruin a cake game.
You right.
And
so
one more thing I have, if I can add it real quick.
Go ahead. This is your final rant.
I'll give an improvement for this game. The concept that I think it should have been, which I might have alluded to in other podcasts. This game would have been better off being solely focused on Chloe's transition from the nice girl that we saw in the first game when she was like little to the punk rock anarchy teen we see today. And what affirmed that, and I was telling you this, is when she partially dyed her hair blue in this game. which I think would have made a nice little parallel visualization too, to her shift from innocent to delved into the darkness, if you will, by slowly changing her hair color and personality and appearance to what we saw in the first game. There's just so many more open doors I can go with it, so much more writing opportunities, so much more acting opportunities, that I liked seeing Rachel for some of the parts, and what there was the prospect, the concept has something there. They just didn't execute it at all properly, in my opinion. And that's really all I gotta say about it. I don't 0 out of 5, 0 out of 10, negative 20 out of a million. That's what I get this game. No, I don't like it.
So, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give my thoughts here, but if you guys stick around and you're loyal viewers of Ed Reviews, we do have a formal review coming out of this. So, actually, I got to answer my own questions here. Mm-hmm. So, would I recommend this? Even if you're a fan, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. Because in my mind, Life is Strange worked because Max, to me, and to a lot of people, I was in this fandom for a while. I followed a couple fan accounts. Life is Strange worked because Max was interesting. Max's story was interesting. As her story of the Wallflower was interesting. Chloe was one of the side characters in an extremely elaborate game. And the problem is, you focus on a side character that, one, a lot of people don't like. As much as the fan base likes Chloe, there's a lot of people who like Life is Strange and just don't like Chloe. So no, unless you, like he said when in his thing, unless you loved Chloe in the first game, loved her, and basically unless if you picked Save Chloe at the end of the first game, you're going to like this. But if you picked Save Arcadia Bay, you aren't going to like this. Because it represents it's everything that people didn't like about Chloe. And Chloe isn't interesting. She's not. So no, I wouldn't recommend it. What was the second question? The second question was, is it better or worse than the first game? It is significantly worse. You had less time. You have a prettier looking game engine. I don't think you disagree with me there.
Pretty game engine in the first game or the second game?
You have in the second game a prettier game engine than the first.
I would say so, yes.
You have a prettier game engine. You have more time. You have time. You have an established fan base. Time.
That's funny. And
you don't do anything with it. There's no reason for this. So it is. I say it's significantly worse than the first game. The first game has its problems. I still really like it.
That's fair.
I still really like the first Life is Strange. Even after playing this, I still like the first Life is Strange. It just got released on mobile. I'm debating buying it to play it there. Just for whatever reason. But no, this isn't good. And am I on board on season 2? It depends. I have to see a trailer. And B, I'm not letting him talk me into this again. Because as I
said I'm off board, bro. You don't have to.
But
it's you who's going to talk me into it.
The problem I had with this from the start was, I still, and I know I said this in the previous podcast, I saw that first E3 reveal trailer, and they announced more Life is Strange, but it's just Chloe. There's no time travel. And I said, he didn't know about it at the time. Like, he hadn't played it.
I didn't want to believe it.
He didn't play that. He didn't play the first game at that point in time when that trailer dropped. No, because it was June. Because it was E3.
Okay.
The game became available in July. Mm-hmm. June was actually around the time I was playing Until Dawn, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. All right, back up track. Sorry, I didn't mean to...
Anyway. By the way, a much better choice game.
Yeah, the choices matter in that game.
I love Until Dawn. Anyway.
A review for another day.
But just worth mentioning. But I remember because I was still talking to him about it, and he knew of the game when that trailer dropped.
I played the first episode last year because at that point they were doing the thing where the first episode was free or whatever, so I played it.
Oh, you had played it?
Yeah, I had played it with my friend, with another friend.
Yeah, anyway, so the point, he knew enough for me to have a conversation with him. And when I saw that trailer, I immediately said to him, I said, the problem is, try as they might, one of the big parts of Life is Strange is time travel. And without it, I don't think you have a story. Because regardless of even if you did it with Max, like, I'm still not holding hope. I don't know if I'm going to play it. He just said he's not playing the bonus episode Farewell. I'm still, like, debating with myself if I'm going to do it. But
I'll hop in the party with you, and we can still discuss about it.
Yeah.
Things you like, don't like, and all.
So, the thing is, we still have that, and I wonder what they're gonna do with Max, because you play as Max in this episode, and I don't want to say praise be from the sense of, like, she's not a great voice actress. The original voice actress for Max is coming back to do her voice in this Farewell this episode called Farewell.
Same with Chloe, right?
Same with Chloe, yeah. Ashley Birch is back to do Chloe. And I'm excited. At least from the sense of, hey, there's something about the original game. But I'm genuinely, like, I am curious as to what that might be.
I know, unless they take the route where it's like, oh, look, a picture from that, and they go back in time to do that, then I don't think it'll have time travel. Which in your mind, then... But then what do you do? Just show the story, and that's another reason why I don't care enough.
This is the thing. Yeah,
I'm done with this world.
But the whole point is, and he touches on a good point with that. The problem is that, like, what's Life is Strange without time travel?
And I said this, and I'm like, there's games that do just, I guess, drama and adventure without supernatural elements. They can pull it off. I believe Heavy Rain doesn't have any supernatural elements. It's just a murder mystery. It's missing something like that. A supernatural element, or a good plot element, or even a trope of any kind. It's just missing it. And it leaves the game feeling empty.
Yeah, it's an empty experience.
It's fluff, the game. Life is Strange before the fluff.
I guess.
Wait, will the Max episode have the objective on the hand?
That's a good question.
Or will she, like, open up a notebook or something like that?
Should I play this just to do that?
Just the hand. If it's the hand, then I'm really done.
And that's kind of... I hope that I have some kind of a cohesive thought there, because, like, I really am... As much as we got angry in the last episode, I'm just disappointed because this... I don't mean to keep bringing this scene up, but it's the reason I love the first Life is Strange. We never had anything in this game like the Kate scene in episode 2. Like, say what you will about episode 2, about bottles, about this, about that.
It was 90% trash. Literally trash.
Actually, yes. But those last however many minutes in that sequence where you're talking Kate down from jumping.
And that you can use when you talked to her before to get clues on how to save her.
Yeah. It remains one of my favorite moments from a video game. Because it takes the ideas behind that series and it uses them in a way that really worked. That, if somebody were to ask me in the end, why were you really disappointed as a fan of Life is Strange? It's because it's missing an equivalent. I don't need someone to kill themselves in the game.
But just have an emotional connection to where I care enough about a character.
Yeah. Like in that moment, you didn't like the second episode, but when you were in that scene, I remember you were interested.
Because there was a sense of permanency.
Yeah.
Which is why, again, I didn't really like the time travel because, I made a choice I didn't like. All right, let's do the other choice. Which is why I thought this one had a little more promise to the thing. But that's a great scene, but throughout everything, it's not enough to carry it for me. It's even if they did shoehorn something like that in the third episode, it wouldn't have been enough for me. It wouldn't have saved Before the Storm.
I don't think it would have saved it. It would at least have given me something where I was like, okay,
They tried.
One of the things I said in the very angry previous episode. I'm very proud of us for not screaming in this one.
I'm just exasperated.
One of the things I said in the other episode was that, like, I don't know if Deck 9 actually played the same game we did. Because in the end, it doesn't know... I don't know if I'm making sense here. I don't think they realize what makes this game great, because they made a game based off of all of the things that were bad about the first Life is Strange.
At least the first Life is Strange, however bad I thought it was, held my attention throughout it.
Yeah, like we weren't sitting letting the cutscenes run while we were sending each other shit.
I might have been laughing about how bad the dialogue was or anything like that, but I was paying attention. It was
Yeah.
either laughably bad to me, or it was or it was interesting at times. It held me, though.
Yeah.
And wait a minute. Did we ever find out that wasn't a hallucination at the end? With her mom. So what happened to Frank and the other dude?
I don't care anymore.
I'm not even... Do we even give context to that, or we're just going to cut that?
For what little bit of context you might need, if you haven't played the game and don't want to.
No, this is great, because this is mega spoilers for this, isn't it? For the ending, I guess?
Kind of.
A
series has to begin before it ends.
I guess.
This never began.
No.
In my book.
So
basically, the last scene in the game, the last important scene in the game is, or no, actually no, the second to last scene is you, after you've gone to try and save Sarah, Rachel's mother, from the druggie, and I don't know if you succeeded is the point, because the whole issue was you watch the drug lord shoot her up with heroin.
Yeah, you go to give the drug lord money so he saves Sarah. But the thing is, he sees you go and give him the money, and he basically hits you, knocks you down,
and it kicks you in the head,
and shoots Sarah up with heroin, which she just kicked for a year, or whatever. So I believe it was heroin.
It was something with a needle.
So, and then Frank comes out because he doesn't want it to turn this ugly, but he got stabbed by, what was the dude's name?
I don't know.
Other drug man. Damon. And so he fights him off in some weird fight scene with one hand. Chloe gets knocked out and wakes up. They're both gone. Rachel's mom's sitting at a table.
Like, perfect posture.
Smoking a cigarette like nothing happened. And Eddie's like, it's a hallucination. I'm like, is it? What? Nothing seems out of the ordinary. So they just have a very, very, very drawn out. I'm talking 15 minutes at least.
It was about 15 minutes.
They just repeat the same thing. You can't tell Rachel what happened. You can't tell Rachel what happened. You can't tell Rachel what happened.
Because, by the way, what it was her father wanted to keep the mother a secret so she could have a normal life and not have the life of a drug addicted mother.
And the mother agrees with that. And she's like, you can't tell Rachel that you found me. Let her keep the life she's had. And you can either choose to tell Rachel or not. I chose not to because I agreed with the father and the mother's decision.
And the thing about it was, the reason I thought it was a hallucination was they were hinting at the idea that they just killed her.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this a ghost?
But where did they go? Did they screw out of there? What?
I don't
and
know.
that's the icing on the cake right there. It doesn't matter at the end.
Yeah. That's the end of it. At that point he turned up. I watched the.
I uninstalled.
As he's uninstalling it, I'm watching the credits scene thing and describing it to him of like, basically all the things we thought this game was gonna be, like, oh, them writing on the walls in the junkyard. Rachel was here. Chloe was here, and like Rachel dyeing her hair blue. I'm like, this is what I thought this game was going to be. Why are you showing me it in a 3-minute scene where there's no talking and you're just doing indie music? Like, the first Life is Strange, it didn't do it well. It took the time.
It answered the questions.
It answered the questions and took time to explain things. And this didn't. And then, like, so we're watching all these scenes. And I gotta admit, I think it's fun. You thought it was funny too because it's just so fucked up.
Oh yeah, the scene.
So the end after the credits roll, where normally in place of where there would be the what's it called, the next time on Life is Strange cutscene, they have this very weird. It starts off very weird where it's like you're watching the two of them in presumably a photo booth, like just posing for pictures, and then it like cuts away to what the reel of film from the photo booth.
It looks strikingly like Max a little bit, by the way, but I don't know. That's probably just.
It was very weird. Well, because initially what I thought it was that she was calling Max, but then you zoom out to see it's Chloe calling Rachel's phone, and you see and now granted, I thought it was kind of like I don't want to say cool, but it was a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Where they're showing. Not Jefferson, not anything where you would know that it's the dark room unless you played the first game. They show
you just saw
the table. You saw the table. You saw the red book, Rachel's red book for the dark room, and you just see like 100 phone calls from Chloe, and you just hear a camera snapping. And I'm like, I mean, it's kind of fucked up.
Why couldn't they put that in the actual game?
I don't know.
And that sums up the entire.
That sums up. I don't know.
Why couldn't they have put that in the game? And I don't know.
Like, I liked that scene in the sense of I'm like, I mean, that's like.
That's cool.
That's cool.
As cool as sexual assault and forcibly picture taking can be.
Yeah. That about sums it up.
Outro time.
I mean, I'm going to review this, but if any of you listen for this whole 50-minute thing, yes. I'll give you. It's not a 0 for me. It's a 0.5 out of 5. It's not a 0 because there's a minutia of effort there. And the thing is, if I gave it a 0, that would mean that it's as bad as Sharknado, and nothing is as bad as Sharknado.
We need a Sharknado Life is Strange crossover.
To be honest, that'd be pretty great. I'd be game. So, if you want to give a score on the 5,
0 out of 5.
Yeah, I figured he would do that.
-5 out of 5.
We are gonna probably shoot a review for this. I'm going to spend a couple days writing it to try and verbalize. I'll probably listen to the podcast again to try and hear my evolution and then put it into a more scripty kind of a thing. And so stay tuned for that. We have a few reviews I'm toying with. I'm looking at maybe doing, if I have a chance to see it, I might do The Greatest Showman as a review.
Star Wars Battlefront 2?
No, because I didn't finish it and sold it.
Yay!
So yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming out. My editor and I are both on winter break. So hopefully we'll have a couple things out. I don't know what the plan is going to be for that bonus episode, from the sense of I don't even know if I want to play it at this point. But I'll keep you guys posted. Stay tuned to Twitter, because I'm sure at some point I'll tweet about it. And yeah, thank you for listening. And seriously, Mike, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me on. I hope all you lovely people have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. And one more time, I don't know, are you guys going to bring back the Twitch? So should I keep plugging the Twitch?
We'll probably bring it back at one point.
So he's on Twitch sometimes.
Last time we streamed was in the summer, but screw it, we might do it at one point.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/House of Memes.
Yeah, so he's on there. Thank you again. I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have you on for something else.
Just let me know.
And that's going to do it. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.